Hello, and welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Professor Noki, and you're here once again for another lesson of Poke Education on Noki Jr. Today, I'll be aiming to answer the question of what is proper Pokemon care. Obviously, like with creatures in our own world, Pokemon need special care to help them grow and develop properly in their lives. And not only that, but they have very particular requirements on how they can each reach their highest potential. Although each and every single Pokemon trainer might raise their Pokemon very differently along their journeys, there are some components to raising a Pokemon that are universal across the Pokemon world. And all of that starts with the travels that you go on with your Pokemon and all of the various experiences that you may have with them. And these can include a wide variety of different experiences, like encountering a major event, or participating in a riveting battle, or just finding your way along your journey in a place you are unfamiliar with. And not only do you have to bring your Pokemon along in your travels, but you also have to maintain a certain level of awareness and attention to their overall health and development. Analyzing and understanding which areas of your Pokemon might need your specific attention, like which Pokemon might need a higher attack, or which ones need a stronger defense. Keeping an eye on the overall development of a Pokemon's stats can make you more aware of where that Pokemon might be able to be used specifically in battle. And along your travels, in order to keep your Pokemon as healthy and fit in battle and give them the most chance for success possible, it is extremely important that you invest a copious amount of money in differing battle items. These items include potions, revives, elixirs and ethers, attack and defense boosters, and the like. And every single one of them is extremely important to provide the utmost care for your Pokemon. And since we're in the discussion of it, we might as well talk about the next area of Pokemon care, which is battling. How exactly does one go about making sure they don't use their Pokemon too frequently in battle, or not enough and then don't level it up along with the other party members? There are some people like myself who really enjoy rotating their Pokemon out with each new battle to make sure that the experience is spread all around and that every single member of the party is at an even keel. This truly assures that when you go into any given battle and select one of your Pokemon, that they'll always be ready to take on any challenge, at least as equally as any other member of your party. And there are so many benefits that a Pokemon can gain through battling, like leveling up, learning new moves, and even evolving into higher forms. Battling is not as simple, however, as just throwing a Pokemon out there and selecting a few moves and hoping for the best, though. You also have to keep in mind each move's PP, which essentially decides how many times you're able to use that move in battle, unless you have a specific item that's able to restore that. And even more importantly, you must pay attention to a Pokemon's health and make sure it doesn't get too far down where it becomes very difficult to bring it back and revive it to full health. And as many of you probably know, in battle, when you use healing items, it actually counts as one of your turns, and therefore you're sacrificing an attack. So it's extremely important to go about the use of these items very strategically. And the other items you could use, which increase a Pokemon's stats like attack, defense, or speed even, would also need to be used extremely strategically as well, however can provide amazing benefits to your Pokemon and give them an edge in battle. So it can really take a lot of fine-tuning in order to figure out when the most opportune time to use these items is. Moving right along, we have another very important area of Pokemon care, which is the time you spend with your Pokemon. Now, for the past few generations of the Pokemon games, we've been given specific mechanics which allow us to spend a lot more personal time with each of our individual Pokemon. Whether this be Pokemon and Me, or Pokemon Refresh, or the brand new Pokemon Camp feature of Pokemon Sword and Shield. These mechanics have really allowed us to learn just how important it is to spend personal one-on-one time with your Pokemon, grooming them, feeding them berries, and even playing with them. And the benefits and rewards that can be had from doing so are just outstanding, especially when it comes to the reactions in battles, where your Pokemon is given a very decisive edge over the competition by being able to react to things much quicker, avoid attacks, and even avoid fainting if your friendship and strength with that Pokemon is high enough. This adds such an amazing level of immersion to the Pokemon games and really helps you connect to these creatures that you've been raising for so so long. And I really truly have to applaud Game Freak's continued efforts to really ramp up this feature the more and more the games develop and the generations go on. The Pokemon Camp feature looks absolutely amazing, and I really can't wait to dive in and see every little facet about it. Up next, we have an area of Pokemon care that you maybe didn't expect to make it to this list, which is daycare centers. Now, there definitely can be a debate around whether these daycare centers are really all that ethical or whether they're considered necessarily cheating, since you're not really raising the Pokemon yourself, and you're not really even developing that personal bond that you would if that Pokemon was traveling along with you. However, that really only applies to the older iterations of the daycare centers, and if they continue to go with what they did in Pokemon Sun and Moon, where the daycare center was specifically just so that you could breed your Pokemon and not necessarily to level them up, this really would ultimately correct that, in my opinion, as using the daycare center as more of a breeding center really is a better use for this feature and really drives players to level up their Pokemon either through battle or through the other feature they implemented in the same region, which was the workout island of the Poképelago. And as it's already been seen in Pokemon Sword and Shield, they've already introduced the Pokejobs feature, which in some way, shape, or form will be replacing the Poképelago from Generation 7, and therefore will probably include some form of leveling up through this way as well. Either way, there are definitely situations where Pokemon daycares can definitely be implemented in the overall care of your Pokemon and be utilized appropriately, rather than just being somewhere you can drop your Pokemon off so that they can level up while you go on your adventure, and you can come back at a later time and take care of them then. And the last area of Pokemon care that I'd like to discuss for this list would be Eevee and Ivy training, which I'd ultimately like to go into a little deeper in a future video. However, this is essentially a Pokemon's base stats and the differing activities that you can do in order to boost these stats and improve your Pokemon's success. There have been many various mechanics throughout the Pokemon games that have allowed you to effectively manipulate these IVs and EVs, along with some games even going as far as to include the ability to hunt for specific Pokemon with higher base stats right out of the gate. And like I had mentioned previously, you can actually affect these base stats in battle by using differing items. But overall, it's extremely important to pay attention to your Pokemon's base stats, as some Pokemon are stronger or weaker in differing areas. And you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you're putting your Pokemon up against another Pokemon that's actually really strong in a specific area that you are weak in. So, in conclusion, the absolute most important facets to caring for your Pokemon truly boil down to trust and friendship. These Pokemon are our companions along a really long and arduous journey where we overcome so many challenges and tribulations. I'd be very interested to see in the comments down below which areas of Pokemon care you regard as the highest. And as always, it would be greatly appreciated if you would consider liking and sharing this video to help support my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this has been Professor Noki signing out once again for Noki Jr.